Welcome into another episode of Redraft Rehab with your boys Thermnation and B. I am Pope. I am here to help you guys out. We are here to make sure you guys get the best of your fantasy leagues and to help you kind of with these redraft leagues, right? Draft season is over, my favorite part, which is the actual drafts. And now we're kind of moving into the season itself. Week one has already been played. Before we get there, we got a jam-packed episode. We're going to talk about our own personal draft strategies that we took into our home league that we're all in together, as well as some week one waiver ads, some unfortunate things that may tie into some of our draft strategies of players that we just flat out avoided that people are already looking for waiver replacements on for week one. But without further ado, it's Victory Monday. Well, it's Tuesday technically that we're recording this, but happy Victory Monday for all that celebrate. I gotta say, Tampa pulled out something in the clutches there, even though we were getting cheated the whole game. Philly, you guys won since last Thursday. Let's see you guys this coming Sunday. How are you, my good gentlemen? I'll start with B first. Let them know
Like you said, Victory Monday.
it's always a pleasure to celebrate. It's always a pleasure. Therm, how's it going? How was your week of football? How was your week one?
First off, these Eagles be flying high. You know what I mean? That's how we get it done. Second off, I'm
Mm.
also got a nice 1-0 on my fantasy record for the time being.
Okay, that's what we play this for, right? You want to make sure that you keep stacking those wins. Although I will say, number one record in our league of record at least has been a Jinx. Not one person that had the best record in the league has won in like the last couple of years. So just letting you know, I looked through the history. Almost everybody that wins is pretty much a 7-9, 8-8. They got hot late and then just ran through the playoffs. So just throwing that out there.
I think I was first place that
You
one
might
year.
have been the last one, but I would have to look back. There's only been like one in the last like six
Hey,
seasons.
hater, look at him.
Yeah, Tua screwed me out of mine.
I don't think you were one last year, were you?
Yes, I was, sir.
Because I think I was one last year, but then I lost.
Numero uno.
Just throwing it out there. But
Because B was mad because he scored more points. But go ahead.
hey, sometimes that happens, right? And as you can see in the playoffs, it's about being able to score points in general. You just got to get there, man. To be honest with you, some people like the buys, but you need to have a consistent roster that can score throughout all of the year. If you got guys that are already solidified playoff spots locked up and they decided to pack their ball and go home, then hey, by the end of the year, that's going to hurt you. So that was kind of a target of mine. If we just segue into our first kind of topic, right? What was our draft results, our draft strategies? A lot of what I did outside of probably one pick was I try to pick guys who I think can get hot later in the season. So a lot of my team is currently built around guys that may still have something to play for towards the end of the year. So that was kind of the mindset I have outside of my one guy, right, which is Lamar. But given how they already lost this one game and how Cincy and the Browns and Pittsburgh looked in week one, I'm not too confident the Ravens will have like the division completely sewed up as early as week 13 and things like that I had originally projected. So
Especially with that defensive performance.
it was really just Jair. Like, I, I don't know. Like when they wanted to really go, if you go back and look, like almost a lot of those positive plays that ended up happening, like it was kind of on Jair
Don't matter.
and the lack of a pass rush. But when you're facing a freaking Josh Allen, like I can see if you're back there facing Flacco and he did that to you, but you're facing Josh Allen, those things kind of happen.
He really has like no receivers, so it's kind of pathetic.
Your coach swallowed the playbook at the end of the day. That's on you. Like your coach played pedestrian, your coach played with the league, and Harbaugh. I think personally, loss is on you. Loss is on that head coach. You saw what that defense was getting chopped up in them last couple of minutes, and you kept saying, "I'm gonna trust the defense. I'm gonna trust the defense," and then defense kept letting you down. So that's on you,
Mm-hmm.
coach.
So for that, I agree with that. There's no reason. So against Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, there is no reason that if the score is one score and it's less than 3 minutes, no, 2 minutes in the game, 2:05, 2:30 or less, you should not be giving them the ball ever. Period. I don't care. If it's fourth down and it's five or less, and you're at your 40 or more, even if you got to their side and on their 40, you cannot give them the ball. You just can't. So that's bad coaching.
I don't.
You can't.
I,
You have
I
your
agree with
offense
that.
put up 40 points. Why
I
would you
agree
trust
with
your
that in a lot of
defense against
ways. One of my main theories has been elite quarterbacks. It doesn't matter if I give you the ball at the 1 yard line, the 50, or the dang near red zone. It's not going to matter. You're going to find a way to put your team in a position to win by the end of the game. So, I've seen it happen too many times with elite quarterbacks. You can do that with non-elite quarterbacks, but
That's what I'm
with an
saying.
elite
It
guy,
happens with
it don't
good
matter.
quarterbacks.
And
Yeah.
that's something that I saw this week watching the Tampa game. That Michael Penix, it didn't matter what situation Atlanta got put in. He put them boys in position to win. They didn't win because they was cheating, but he put them boys in position to win. And when it needed it, his best guys didn't show up. So I'll put it that way, right? But shout out to him. That was a phenomenal game by him, just to see him will a team to victory, or attempt to will a team at victory, I should say. But nah, hats off to Michael Penix. He showed me something. I like that. NFC South, they got at least two quarterbacks, right? We can say Baker, we can say Michael Penix, and the rest is looking barren. Spencer Rattler didn't look great. Bryce didn't look great. So I'm gonna chalk those two teams up in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. We'll see what happens with that one.
We're a long ways from the NFC South having four MVP quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, I
Wait,
mean,
was it four?
even in our heyday, it was only three. So
Oh, it's
there's
three.
that.
Tampa did that. Right.
Correct. That was the Jameis Winston time frame, and the McCown and the Mike Glennon, and just getting pummeled every single week. Where we had to go through Breeze and Cam Newton and Matt Ryan and everybody else that came with those teams. So, but nonetheless, there's only one team that got a Super Bowl ring at the end of that. So, but let's I mean, we started this conversation about draft strategy. So B, let me know how you think your draft went. What kind of strategy did you stick to your strategy that you initially went in for? What are the kind of things? Walk me through how you tried to put together your team for your particular home league.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say about a strategy because you always have a strategy, but the board never goes, usually the way how you
Speak on it.
want to draft.
Yep.
But I did project to you guys weeks ago that I would get a certain player from a probability I did in my own spare time, and that was correct. So I did get Derrick Henry. But draft
The
wise
king.
philosophy, my only real philosophy is getting the top four quarterback this year. That's pretty much always my philosophy going forward. I want to guarantee good fantasy quarterback because it's pretty difficult when you have an average or decent quarterback when it comes to fantasy because you can't count on them for the most
Yeah.
part. And this year also I didn't really draft a tight end. I usually go tight end very early, but because how the board fell, um, I changed that philosophy for me. So I just went
It shocked the heck out of me.
pretty much I went players
Yeah.
that's like high volume targets. So like Puka Nakua, I drafted. JSN, I drafted. Jalen Warren should be more of the volume type running back for the team.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, obviously. Khalil Shakir, even though he's not a number one, but he should get majority, or at least a decent amount of targets. So pretty much my draft
He's a good
strategy was
safety valve, it looks like, for Buffalo. I mean, what I would say is we all have our strategies, philosophies that we kind of stick to. We've been drafted in the same league for roughly 15 something years. So everybody kind of knows how or who everybody kind of targets. So it's kind of hard to throw curveballs. As Brady mentioned, and for the fantasy community, what he's talking about is going either QB or tight end early, that's typically called a onesie, right? So those are your onesie drafters, right? You try to grab a onesie position, which will be a quarterback, tight end, because typically you're only going to play one of them or roster one of them, right? So when you have a onesie, the key is if I'm going to go onesie, I need to get a guy within the top four, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go onesie early, if I'm going to grab a tight end, um, like look, you want your Bowers, you want your Trey McBrides and stuff like that for this season, right? Kittle, he got hurt, but that's typically who you're going to the profile of the player you're going to go for. If you're going to go for a quarterback, I can segue into my kind of draft strategy, which was I had JSN literally in my queue and on my board with pick 4. I was in the worst possible fantasy draft position that you can have, which is pick number 5, which as of last year, according to the data, the least amount of championships came from players that drafted in that pick 5 slot. So I knew I had work to do. I went onesie early. I went Lamar, set the whole league up because I figured like a couple of picks would have ended up sliding back to me if I went quarterback early. Then that started the trend. It did start the trend, but it started the trend at the turn because B wanted Jalen Hurts. That was his target. My target was going to be Lamar this year. And it actually went against my strategy, which actually threw my whole team off technically because my strategy was going to be obviously I got Gibbs in my league, right? So I went running back early. Gibbs is a stalwart, playing it, right? Hero running back. And then on the way back, I picked Mr. Wonder Boy, right? Lad McConkey, even though didn't get the tutties. But Lad is my guy on the way back. JSN was going to be the next pick just for our league. I wanted to get the volume guys, but then I was like, if I don't go quarterback here, Lamar's not making it back to me, right? Because I know at the end of our draft is a gentleman, Kyrie, who I'm on the other pod with. You guys check that out. No timeouts. But Kyrie was going to take Lamar, and then that's going to prompt B to take Jalen Hurts. I started that trend a little early, but then it cost me, right? Cost me the wide receiver I was targeting, which was JSN, which ended up on Brady's team. Um, so as far as strategy goes, I'm a BPA, right? Best player available. I try to go high volume guys personally.
Same.
So
And
Lamar,
also
high volume. I want
to
guys that are
piggyback,
basically the focal point of offenses.
also to piggyback on the philosophy that changed. I usually go heavy wide receiver, but this year I went heavy running back. So I have a lot of depth at running back. Usually I have heavy receivers, but I changed it up. So some
Yeah.
slight changes.
Yeah, one thing that will always remain with me is typically tight ends. I just punt as a position. I never really go tight end early. I went early last year and I actually ended up with a pretty decent roster because I had Kittle and Bowers on the same squad. But typically, I like to find an upside tight end later in drafts because or just stream it. I'm not really a. I don't really care to put that much effort into the tight end position personally. I rather do the quarterbacks and the running backs. But Therm, we had a draft. Your strategy going into this entire pod was pretty much I'm a heavy running back build kind of guy. This year, Saquon fell to your lap in our home league. How do you feel about the rest of your roster?
So just to let everyone know, this is actually only the second year I decided to go with this philosophy. Previously, I would generally, yes, always take a running back first pick. But after that, I would shoot for balance. So I go, well, let's see what wide receivers available. Let's see what other running backs. So it might not necessarily be running back heavy. These last 3 years, or last year and this year, my first 4 picks, 3 of them were running backs. I love my roster. So I like he said, Saquon fell to me at 4, and then on the way back, because again, everyone went heavy wide receiver, had a quarterback picked up, had a tight end picked up. Josh Jacobs fell to me at pick like 28 or something like that, or 21, which that's amazing for a guy like Josh Jacobs, in my opinion, especially in that Packers offense. Granted, week 1, he did score, but rushing yards wise, they only gave him like I think they gave him like 15 to 18 carries, and he put up like 60, 70 yards. But I expect him to continue to score. I expect him to put up 100-yard games here and there. And then my third running back, who was my fourth pick, was Chuba Hubbard. Again, Carolina has very little upside, unfortunately. Like, I was confident in Bryce. I thought he took a step up, but turns out maybe not. I don't know. Could have been fool's gold. It was only week one, but he looked horrible. But Chuba scored, and that's what matters.
It'll be
Chuba's being
Jekyll and Hyde
targeted.
with Carolina. I think Bryce will have some good days, some bad games. He's just inconsistent. Like and
Yeah.
and, and I don't think he'll ever not be inconsistent, to be honest. This isn't like one of those he'll grow out of it. Like I think that's just him as a player. Like he's just inconsistent. But
And he's targeting Chuba, and they're giving him the ball. And then my fourth pick, well, I'm sorry, he was my fourth. My third pick was DJ Moore. Took him last year because of what I expected them to do last year. They're doing this year. In 2023, when he first got to the Bears, Justin Fields was slinging it to him, balls, and they were good passes occasionally. But beyond that, they were giving him reverse runs. They're doing all types of stuff to get him the ball. Then in 2024, new offensive coordinator, he said, "Nah, I'm gonna just have you do like three routes, the same routes every single play." And it didn't work out. And then week one, they got DJ Moore in the backfield doing reverses, catching passes across the middle, deep down the field. So, and he got like at least 10 targets, maybe 15. I don't know. I didn't look at it, but at least 10, along with at least three carries in the backfield. That usage is insane. I'm glad I got him. I think it'll get better as the year goes on and as Chicago and specifically Caleb starts to grow into the offense. And yeah, ultimately
I
I'm
think it
fine with it.
helps
I
when
got
you're just
Kyle
not
Pitts.
facing the Vikings either, like as a defense. Vikings defense
Right,
is
right.
actually kind of tough too. So
Exactly.
I had higher hopes. The Chicago game last night, great game to have on a Monday night. You thought the Vikings were out of it. They end up storming back and after halftime, but it looked like Caleb Williams ran the game script, like the first 10 plays, which normally you script out. Like no matter what happens, we're kind of running these first 10 plays. These are your money plays. Like they've worked on it all week. They know exactly how that works. And then after those plays ran out, it just became a mess. Like nobody knew what they were doing anymore. And it was just, I called it schoolyard bullshit. Like it was kind of like it felt like watching what's the movie with Adam Sandler when he was the quarterback?
Longest yard.
It
Long
felt like
start.
that. It felt like they're
I,
just drawing up random shit. And
no,
I don't know.
I don't even. I wouldn't even say. I won't say they were drawing up random stuff. I think Brian Flores just made one hell of an adjustment at halftime.
Oh, that
Because in the
happened
first
too.
half,
I
yeah, in the
mean,
first half, he didn't pressure. He didn't send a lot of pressure like he normally does. In the second
oh
half,
yeah.
he started sending guys at Caleb left and right, and Caleb did not know what to do.
Yeah,
So,
adjustments are real, and I think
yeah,
both teams adjusted, but I think similar to the Baltimore collapse that we talked about, like some teams when they get the lead, they just start swallowing the playbook and they just stop
100%.
trying to
Yeah,
put pressure on it. You know what I mean? And it was like Brian Flores and the Vikings defense, they typically don't just like Todd Bowles, they come out vanilla at the first. Like at first, they're very vanilla because then you're going to get your iPad and you're going to do all these looks and you're going to be like, oh, I don't like this or I do like this and whatever. And then as the game progresses, they're going to start confusing you, throwing up stuff. It'll look like what it did in the first half, and then all of a sudden it's a totally different defense. So I think that's just the gamesmanship, right? But even the play designs, like DJ Moore was a gadget guy, Rome was somewhat of a gadget guy at times. They want to obviously get the ball to the tight ends a lot, but no, I think it's a good thing. I like what I saw from a lot of those. We built our teams in a very philosophical kind of way, but I think ultimately, I think consistently what you heard all three of us say is it's kind of like best player available. Like, yes, we're going to try to fill the slots, but for the most part, it's like best player available. Now, what I think about most of the time when I draft, and this kind of messes me up sometimes, is if I see a run happening, I'll typically flip to another position. For example, if I am about to pick, and this is just draft advice for next season for you guys, if I'm about to pick and a running back run just happened, I'm not going to get the last running back at the end of the run, regardless, because now I'm out of position, really, where I should probably look at a different position. Maybe if there was a run on running backs, wide receivers are coming up, right? Now I can get a better wide receiver at a better rate as opposed to waiting on the running back and going that route. So,
that's how
um,
essentially I got Josh Jacobs.
yeah, right. And I think after the turn, Brady ended up getting Derrick Henry, and then after that, it was just a wide receiver run. And I think Lad McConkey was kind of like the last one on my board that I would have felt comfortable taking there. because I was looking at Jonathan Taylor and I was looking at Josh Jacobs, and I was like, I would do it just a double running back right here, but I was like, I want it's we play in a three. You're starting basically three wide receivers, so I was like, I want to get
Mhm.
somebody that has some type of target volume. So I went Lad, um, and then the Lamar pick is what's sinking me right now. But I think I still had a very good start, to be honest. If I actually played a full roster in our league, because I dropped a kicker. If I played the full roster, I think Brady scored the most points this week already. So I didn't have like I already knew going into Sunday night that like it was a wrap, brother. Like it was a wrap. Already knew that. So my thing is stack up for next week, figure out what players you want to actually keep on your roster. It's kind of like a early waiver, right? In my opinion. That's just how I kind of operate. But even so, I played what, one man down in a defense going against the top offense. I still ended up top 10 in points. You know, I'm not at the bottom of the league there. So
He said top 10 out of 12 people.
yeah, you're playing a position down. I didn't look at the actuals. I think I'm actually 10 or I'm either 10 or 9. But if you look at the people that actually lost,
Yeah, I'm
right?
only
If you look at the people that lost, there's only 6 people. I'm 2 spots behind the sixth guy, right? So that's fine. Um,
I only got 108, I think. Maybe 110.
yeah, I'm basically I'm within 8 points of the last guy. And the reason why that's important is because at the end of the year, the tiebreaker is points scored, right? So you want to still roster people and get points scored. For me, week one, 7 point deficit. I'll take that. And then just continue to dominate for the rest of the week. Right. That'll just be how it works. Very confident in that part. Very confident. I'm trying to sneak into like I want to be actually like that 6th seed that kind of creeps in and then just gets hot. That's how you win fantasy leagues. You're the 6th seed nobody wants to face. That's how it works.
So I do got some picks for the crowd. You
All
know,
right. So
I got
some
some.
waiver. We saw some football happening. We got some waiver picks for this week. That's how we're going to end the episode this week, just to see who's going to be some of these obvious waiver picks that we think you should be targeting in your leagues to make sure that they are not available.
All right, let me kick it off. I got two of them for you. Two of them because I don't think these guys are picked up in most leagues.
Oh,
So
greedy,
one,
greedy.
if you're going a quarterback, um, we talked about him earlier. Mr. Pope over there, he talked about him at a larger length and gave him a lot of credit. Michael Penix, he's someone that right now I doubt he's on many rosters. And if you are someone who is in a QB purgatory, or maybe you drafted someone and who
You
just
put faith
didn't
in
play
Tua and
well in
Trevor
week one.
Lawrence. Just go ahead and say it. You put faith in Tua and Trevor Lawrence, and you need a replacement ASAP.
No, actually, no. I wouldn't even say those guys because I don't think those are on many rosters. I'm talking about more like my guy Jared Goff, who probably is on rosters. And then to keep going further, and he had a decent game, but even Brock Purdy, you know what I'm saying? Like what I'm getting at is Michael
Well, Brock
Penix
got
is
injured, so
somebody,
you gotta replace him.
right? Right. But so Michael Penix, I think, is someone that you can roster, that you can get for possibly free if you're playing in a FFA. What is it? Fab League? FAAB?
Yep.
Yeah, if you're playing with currency when it comes to your free agency pool, I think Michael Penix is somebody you can get and not have to put a lot of money towards. And my second pick is for tight end. It's someone I didn't draft originally, but immediately made a switch for him right after the draft. His name is Brenton Strange. He's Jacksonville's number one tight end. He got 7 points and was targeted quite a bit by Trevor Lawrence. Now, don't get me wrong, T-Law is not good, but he's going to target him. I think if you're in, again, just like the QB purgatory, if you're in the tight end purgatory, I think you would be well going for Strange. And once again, I don't think you'll have to put a lot of money towards it if you're in the FAAB league. And if you're not in one, I think you can just get him just like that. So
Not a
those are
bad
my
dart
two.
throw. Not a bad dart throw at all. I mean, I like Michael Penix, obviously, watched the whole Tampa game, saw what he can do. The only problem that I have with him is Darnell Mooney. He's still down with the shoulder injury. They thought he was going to play this week. they might put him on IR now, because it didn't respond to whatever treatment they tried. And now Drake London also left with a shoulder sprain, not necessarily a
He
dislocation or
got
anything
hurt.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he
What?
got slammed into the turf at the end of the game and didn't finish the game. So he has a shoulder sprain. It's day to
Told you,
day or
Chris, he
week to
light
week.
skinned.
Hey man, when you're 6'5", going falling hurts. I'll just put it that way.
No, it's the same
Them
crap he
bones
said
is
on
brittle
Sunday.
for the yellows, is what Brady is
He
trying to
kept
say.
saying
I
that
get
to
it.
me.
I get it.
Nah, he kept B kept saying that to me.
Hey,
He's like,
apparently
like,
Worthy's
God,
shoulder it completely dislocated from his body. All he did was run into somebody, so he didn't even get tackled.
that's
Brother
That's
tripped on
different
a
though. He
crossing
like
route.
130 pounds.
This is why track people shouldn't play football. You just stick to track. That's all I'm saying. Track people, it's not working out for you. Outside of Tyreek Hill, who is
look,
basically a 5'8" version of muscle, there's no other track athletes that are actually like consistent
look.
in today's
I
NFL.
feel bad for Worthy because I told y'all on this
You
pod I had I had
you felt bad.
high upside for Worthy. I legit and look, let's
Tell
be
me
honest.
about it.
Hear me out. It was 3 snaps or 3 plays. Yeah, 3 snaps, 3 plays, same thing. If you go back and watch the first play, they gave it to him. That play, that crossing play, was designed for him. So they truly did plan on featuring Worthy as the guy. It's just
Track body don't hold up.
one of the most unfortunate situations, you know?
Super
Not even a
unfortunate.
non-contact. You ran into your
I will
guy.
say I was playing DJ, and when I saw it, I was kind of happy because like I want every advantage, but at the same time, I felt bad for him. I won't lie.
Oh, hey,
I
for the people wondering out there, yeah, that guy Pope, he sniped Worthy from me. So this is kind of like
don't know about snipe. I don't know about
he
snipe. If you
sniped
look
him.
at how
We
my
were in,
team was,
ladies and gentlemen, we were in the same room drafting. Okay, he
were
came over, and we were in the same room, and I said, "Don't do it, Pope." And he
well,
goes,
no.
"I'm
He
gonna do
announced
it.
it too.
I'm
This
gonna
is
do
what
it."
happens. This is what happens.
Oh, and I'm like,
I
bro,
I saw
please,
it
bro.
already happening because he was literally in my queue. So I was like, this is the round that I'm taking him. But then I looked across the room and I saw him just looking at me like, don't you fucking do it. Don't
See,
do it.
see,
And I was just
that,
like,
yeah.
my fingers on the button. Like I knew exactly where I was going with that. So I
It was
mean, hey,
because he did that. I ended up with Rasheed Rice, and maybe I got the better deal.
we'll see. I
You
mean,
definitely got
we'll
the
see.
better deal, even if he was healthy.
I think the Rasheed
I don't
Rice
know.
thing. I think you
Rice is
drafted
better.
in a position to be able to keep your roster together for a while because I don't know. By the way, we only run 4-man benches, no IR spots in this league. So,
No
um,
man's league.
it's going to be you have to basically you're probably going to sacrifice a week, maybe, or somebody on your bench once bye weeks start rolling around. If you're rostering those guys that have those later suspensions or IR stints, right, in our league. So that means you got to draft well because the team you're drafting is pretty much the team you're going to stay with unless you're dropping somebody to the wire. And if that was the case, why burn the pick? So, um,
Depends on the pick.
yeah, I mean, when you pick them, but if they ain't producing for you and they ain't here until week 6, week 8, week 10, then you know what I mean? It is what it is. Um, but the Worthy pick, yeah, I mean, I still feel okay about it. It looks like they're going to sling his shoulder into one of them braces, and then
Yeah,
he's going to
I don't
have
think
to
it's gonna
be on so much Toradol, it probably doesn't matter, right?
Listen, I'm telling you now from
like
experience, he ain't making it.
I'm
yeah,
just
like
saying.
to be honest, if they let's say it's bad enough to where it's bad enough he needs surgery. They've already pretty much said that. They
Hey,
admitted to
listen,
it.
when you dislocate your
But
shoulder, you get hurt. Yeah, there's no other repair.
right, right. So the issue is this: if he plays on it, and
He's
sure
done.
he could. First off, he's going to have a lot of pain. Secondly, you're going to have to change your entire playbook because he can't be the feature guy. Because
I
if
think
he
he can
takes
still be
one
the future
massive hit,
guy.
that's
I
it.
think what changes is
Exactly.
those design runs and jet sweeps will no longer be him. And that's a
But that's
part of his
making
game.
him the feature guy.
That's a
Yeah,
part of his game. But at the
right.
end of the day, he is not a receiver that dictates his play on physicality anyway. He's 130 pounds.
Sure. Fair.
So
Yes.
he just needs to be fast and catch a fucking Hail Mary. That's
But
it. That's
that
it.
catching part, okay, fair enough.
I
He
But
mean,
catching his body,
all I'm
but
saying is,
extending up
that's what
with
I'm
that
saying. Like
arm.
what-
right
if
here,
they
it's
did,
going to
see,
hurt. It's going to hurt.
I feel
He
like a
can do it.
surgery now, and granted, I'm not a doctor. I don't know this,
He
but
be
I
out
feel like a
six
surgery
months.
now,
The
and there's a
prognosis,
possible 6 months.
It's
Oh,
six
it's gone.
months.
Okay,
the
never mind.
the
I was
the
gonna say maybe this
prognosis
is
was
playing
he's
for the
not doing the
playoffs.
surgery. The prognosis said it's about 2 to 3 weeks. He'll probably be sitting down for, and then on a lot of pain meds in the shoulder sling brace thing. That is the initial prognosis. Um, but it's to me, it's a it's a shaky spot to have for the rest of the year because you're one hit away from basically going right into that surgery. So
Right. He's more likely going to be done. And then either way, even if he plays, he's not playing the whole season. Trust me.
no, for sure.
Right,
I think he'll mix
absolutely
in this. I think
on an
he'll miss
active
the next
schedule.
2 weeks
Yeah,
So, because if
personally.
he gets surgery, it's
absolutely.
minimum 4 months of recovery and then PT a month. So it's like 6 months total.
And doing it now would put you you're not recovering until March. So I
See,
think
and
he's
that's the
gonna
thing.
they're gonna rest him for 2 to 3 weeks. They're gonna put so much Toradol on that man's back that is just gonna be great. He's not gonna feel a thing. He's gonna be out there like Perk Rogers. I promise you.
I
I
feel like
promise
they
he's
could
not gonna know his
do the
shoulder exists.
surgery. I feel like they could do the surgery and then hope for the best at a playoff. Hope for the
He's
best.
not
And
gonna
like
do it.
Brady, no. I hear you 100%. Only reason why I'm saying hope for the best is because you know how the NFL.
I mean,
You,
I mean,
you
yeah,
know
they
how they
don't.
mess
if
you
they
with
do it
Hope
now,
when
holding.
you're not ready.
you got 4 months until playoffs.
Right.
He's not coming back or being in shape to contribute. He would
That
have already like
fair.
I
Fair.
I think they're going to just roll the dice because it's football and they're going to be like get out there and play and if it gets worse then we'll shut you down. But
But they're gonna shut him down until it gets worse. So it's football.
correct,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's going to keep playing until he gets hit again for the most part or falls on it trying to do a diving catch or some crap like that. But
Foolish. Foolish for
hey man,
him. But
he's
what can
not in
we
the
do?
contract year. He's already got his ring. So
I know.
this is
No.
where you earn
He'll
your
never
stripes with the team, being the
he'll
team
never
guy.
He doesn't have a
never.
ring. Chill
No,
out.
not yet.
Chill out.
Sorry,
He's a rookie
sorry,
last year.
Not yet.
not
What do you
yet,
mean?
Denied.
not yet,
Denial.
not yet.
By who?
I was actually talking about Rasheed Rice in my head, and then I've mixed the two because Rasheed Rice does. But I
He does.
mean, I would say that for him, super young guy, he's going to roll the dice with this first injury. He's not like trying to. He's not in a contract year and about to pack it in. Like he's is far away from that. But
Yeah.
that's your Xavier Worthy. I mean, speaking of people that can replace them from the wire, if you got a couple of these injuries, we saw George Kittle leave, right? So tight ends on the wire. Chris mentioned someone in Brenton Strange. Quarterbacks, right? Brock Purdy went down. Tua basically went down. He's turning the ball over everywhere. You got a lot of just. I mean, is Daniel Jones a viable fantasy quarterback right now? Like,
No.
I don't know.
Don't
I don't
no, do
know.
not accept week one. Miami's defense isn't good. Don't accept week one for Danny Jones. But Jordan Love, if he's available, it's a
I mean,
possibility.
I'm just saying, like there's a lot
Yeah.
out there, right? And a guy like me, that's why I've been fishing Lamar in some
Yeah.
of these trades just to be like, hey, does
But
somebody want to bite?
I'd
Because
probably
I
either
can.
Justin Fields or Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, that again, great candidates that should be available in almost everybody's league if you're in a redraft, right? Um,
oh, I got one. If you have Colin Murray, try to sell now. Sell now, brother. Sell now if you can. Sell.
as a perennial Kyler taker, it's you sell
Pause.
right before November, right? You got to
I
sell right
sell
before
right
Call of Duty comes out. If you sell before Call of Duty, that's his best time of the year. After Call of
now.
Duty season starts, it's a wrap. You're stuck with
I'd
him.
sell right now. I don't think he's gonna. He didn't do much against
I think he can
an
sustain this.
inferior opponent. Like you're playing the Saints, and that's what you gave us. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
I
You're playing the
mean,
Saints, bro. Like
at the end of
really?
the day, if you already spent the pick on him, upgrading him, you got to find a guy on the wire that's worth it. To me,
Correct.
you got Fields out there, you got Penix out there, although he's down some of his weapons.
But I
Kyle
bet you right
Pitts,
now you can
stock
sell
up,
him high.
right?
I
Um,
bet you can sell Kyler Murray high right now. because of the name. Because hey, I know
I
he
don't know who
runs.
you, but that's the thing. Like if you're in a redraft league, I don't know if you're going to be able to sell any quarterback until Fields and Rodgers and Daniel Jones, like until these guys are off of the wire, and the wire just looks like Tua and Trevor Lawrence and Russell Wilson and all, once they're back on the wire, like then you can probably get a quarterback deal. But until those guys are off your wires, I'll just get the guy for free and drop
I agree with that.
Jadon Blue or whomever. Some of you in our league is rostering bums. Just drop them. You know what I mean?
I I agree
I
with
looked
that
through a
in
couple of
the
these rosters, and some of y'all are rostering straight up bums. Not
yeah,
nobody here,
Ain't
but
ain't mine.
yeah. I mean,
there's
I
there's
agree
a
with
couple.
that in a 12-man 6 bench league. Yeah, you probably well, you're gonna probably have to trade for a quarterback in those types of leagues. But
Yeah,
in
if
a
you got
league
six
Look,
where
person benches, leave it. First of all, you should be at
yeah,
4, like a man.
correct,
But
yeah.
but
Well, if
if
you're
you
in a
got a
real league with
four
four
bench
bench spots,
league, you're not.
you don't need to.
It's too much value out there right now, unless you can get a guy like Lamar on a trade.
Or
Other than
Tyrone
that,
Tracy.
I don't know.
Sounds pretty good to
this
me.
guy. Can we? All right, we can wrap it up now. This guy, you selling the dream.
That's crazy.
It's available. I have
Go
offers
ahead,
out.
grab
I
yourself
have offers
Chris,
out.
Tyrone
Chris
Tracy.
is the only one in here that needs a quarterback, so you talking to him.
He's
Why do
getting
I need a
Fields.
quarterback?
Because I have one and he has one.
I got Derrick Goff. That's quarterback.
You do. I
It
don't
don't
think
matter.
he's
You
your
can
guy.
get that face
I don't think
Thompson,
he's your
but
guy.
it
I
don't
would stick with
matter.
golf personally, but I don't think you're gonna be that patient.
Golf cool. Golf cool, but no, I'm not gonna stick with him unless I do stick with him. Know what I'm gonna do.
We Me and Brady know exactly what you're gonna do. I can tell
Shut
you I can tell you the exact waiver that you have in right the flip now. I
no,
bet
you
you.
did. How many waivers I got in? I might have 4 and 5, 6, 7.
There's one that has more fab budget allocated to it than the others. Trust me, brother.
Actually, yes, but it's probably
So
not the one you're thinking.
nah, man. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Waivers come out tomorrow. We're gonna drop this episode also tonight, so that way you can run into your waivers tomorrow. Getting a couple of guys. We gave you just a few. I'm going to give you a sleeper for wide receiver that I think is going to be available in a lot of leagues, and I think that people should start paying attention to, just because I think this is going to be a guy, and he didn't get much volume, and your pundits out there are really talking about trying to get um this other guy that they have on this roster, which is Kayshawn Boot. I get that, but throughout the preseason, throughout last year, Drake May has been targeting Pop Douglas or Demario Douglas. He caught a tutty last week in the game. People are high on Stephon Diggs. People will see Kayshawn Boot put up a couple of targets and got some yards. But when they need to play, they go to Demario Douglas. That's just one thing. He's going to be available on every single wire there is. I promise you. Um, I'm ignoring the said Tillman noise with the Browns. I just got to see it again. I'm sorry. I'm not really invested into Browns pass catching with Joe Flacco right now, just because I don't know. I think it may be if you're in a league like even ours, our home league, where the wire for wide receivers is actually pretty barren right now. Um, go for a said Tillman if he's available, right? Go for Demario Douglas. I think he has good upside. Wandale Robinson is still going to get targets because teams are going to realize to just double cover neighbors. So Wandale will be there. He should be available in a lot of leagues. But who I'm looking at as well, I mean, I'm ignoring this game for the Chargers, really. I think Quentin Johnson will fall back to life, and Keenan Allen's old. He'll eventually be injured. Wouldn't waste your time there. Isak Tesla. Now, I'm not saying he's like some next Puka or anything like that, because there's a lot of people in front of him, but he's a rookie. He got the third string job for the Lions, but he keeps scoring in the preseason. He scored last week. It seems like when they need a play, they'll run JMO, they'll run Amon Ra. You kind of know what they're going to do. But Isak Tesla almost performs like a second tight end, right? They do have Laporta there, but Laporta's a good safety blanket, but this Isak Tesla kid, like I think that later in the year, you're going to hear that name a lot, and this will be an early scoop on the waiver wire for someone like him.
I
B,
had a drop alert, but I
I'll let
can't
you
remember.
close it out. B with I don't know. You got any targets that you think is just there? Defense, running back, tight ends, quarterbacks. Like
You
who
say
do you think is
Calvin
somebody
Austin
good?
from Pittsburgh?
He had a good game. I
He's
don't
actually
know.
pretty good. I've been a
I don't
fan
know
for
if it's
like
real with the
2 years.
whole DK thing. I don't know.
He's this is third year. He's been under the radar in my opinion. He's pretty decent. So
I like
I
his
think
talent.
he's
I don't. I
I
just
think he's a sleeper.
Rogers pick and chooses his favorites. You know what I mean?
But he
So
still put up decent numbers last year with the quarterback position that they have. So he's a
that's not a bad pickup. I
he's a
like
sleeper
him.
for me.
I saw some Tyreek Hill rumors. I saw obviously Kansas City, but I saw that Pittsburgh was creeping around and Rogers has wanted to play with a guy like Tyreek Hill as well. We'll see. It looks like Pittsburgh is all in, right? It looks like they're just making all in type of moves right now. So jobs on the line. That's
He
all
Yeah.
I
had no
got to say.
choice.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for staying with us. This is our week one recap. Gave you a couple wires, gave you a couple draft strategies to bring into next year so you can dominate those drafts next year. The rest of this season, you're going to hear us every Tuesday. We're going to talk about waiver pickups. We're going to talk about what we saw this last weekend, general banter, things like that. But we appreciate you for hanging out with the boys, man.
All right, fellas.
All right.